our 3 o'clock show, keeping our Coastal Bend flavor going a little bit. Athletic coordinator, football coach at Corpus Christi Miller High School, Justen Evans joins us, a very special guest. Coach Evans, welcome, and thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Coach. Happy to have you on, and it's been we were talking to Coach Simper earlier, it's been a really up and down couple of months. How's your summer going? How are you faring? I know it's been busy time with coaches, whether it be scheduling, looking for games, and just overall, just trying to stay safe and healthy and look out for the health of your kids. How have you been faring, Coach?
I mean, of course, the whole pandemic has been definitely some trying times, and having to adjust to the things that have been going on. It's been such a fluid situation with this pandemic. So, we've been just trying to, take it as it's coming and do the best that we can.
For sure. And I know CCISD, like a lot of the school districts in Texas, have really put their best foot forward when it comes to protecting the kids and the coaches and whatnot. How have you? And it's an ever-changing situation, like you said. The UIL is following the CDC. You guys are keeping up with it, keeping your heads on the swivel. How has that part been for you? Just keeping up and making sure you're able to stay a couple of steps ahead of this.
I mean, really, it's really, collectively as a district, as a school district with CCISD, we've relied heavily on each other, and making sure that whatever we're going to do, we're unified, and there's a synonymous approach to how we're going to deal with this together, putting all minds together to make sure that ultimately the safety of our kids is not compromised, and keeping them safe as possible, with also the guidance from the UIL and what they've deemed necessary for us to do in order to keep kids safe.
And talking about the UIL, the calendar changed and that came down, and it was a big shock to everybody, whether it be pushing seasons and but it seemed for 4A and below, and that's you guys able to start on time, a little bit of normalcy there. What was that like for you? I know people in your position are very fortunate, and they've kept on trucking. What was that like for you guys to be able to start with some sort of normalcy? I know it must have been hard finding some games or whatnot, but as far as that, it had to be good to start on time.
Well, I think in our case, a lot of it was, when the UIL came out with the blueprint of what it was going to look like, there was a state of, okay, wow, this is what we're doing. And one thing I've learned about the UIL is that, need not guess on what they're going to do, because they're going to do whatever it is they want to do or what have you. And so we'll have to make adjustments. It was a little bit of a pivot, so to speak, from what we were assuming was going to happen. And then that coupled with what the other 5 high schools in our local school district are doing, because they are at the 5A level. It did take some quick decision making, safely, but we had to, fill a schedule and make sure that we understood that practice is going to start on this such date, and we're going to play a football game a month ahead of the rest of the school. So we've got an awesome administrative team here, our superintendent and our athletic director and our principal. They're just great people, and they get it. And so we've been, it's just still so fluid, but we're taking it as it goes and trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, and like I said before on the previous show, kudos to CCISD for doing what they've been doing and keeping the kids safe. And I know that they're doing a top-notch job over there of doing just that. So happy to see that, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about we'll come back to this coming year. We'll talk about what you guys have coming back and whatnot. But let's talk a little bit about last year. Really a great Miller team last year. I believe you guys went 12-1 overall in the season. Were one of the highest scoring teams in the state. Got the numbers right here. I think you guys averaged 54.1 points per game, and that was 3, 4, 5, good for 6 overall in the state. despite classification, right behind Humboldt, Atascocita, San Augustine, Panhandle, Shiner, and McKinney North, and right behind them is Corpus Christi Miller coming in, Coach. Just a great season for you all. A little bit, just throughout the whole season. Just what was that like for you? What was your impressions coming in at the start of last year? And it's how everything unfolded.
I mean, essentially, it was a culmination of just a bunch of hard work by kids and coaches and community coming together. And you really saw it was year 3 for us being as a staff here. And, really by year 3, you're wanting to see the fruits of your labor manifest themselves. And so there's just a bunch of hard work that have been put in. I've got, in my opinion, the best coaching staff in Texas. Those guys are amazing, and the way they coach kids and love kids and do that. We just had an awesome staff this past year. And so that coupled with just having good players, great young men, that's what ultimately allows you to be successful. We put up some impressive numbers offensively, but those also, kids being in the same system for 3 years. And, that coupled with the maturation process that comes with, playing youngsters 3 years ago in our first year here to now they're 3-year starters and have played on a lot of snaps. And so, all that together and the continuity of the staff, we didn't really lose a lot of coaches from year 1 to year 3. The core of it is still here. So we added some great pieces, one being Coach Ruben Garcia, who just got the Falfurrias head football athletic director job. Phenomenal coach. Brought him in from Crosby, Texas, and he just hit the ground running. We just gelled quickly, and Coach Chavez, coming in, like we're very fortunate, and those guys, brilliant minds, and ultimately that's how we're able to be successful.
For sure. And like you said, yeah, a lot of great minds on that football staff. Like you said, it's been a culmination of a couple of years, but a lot of great athletes too, Coach. Like I said, those numbers show it. I mean, not only I mentioned those offensive numbers, but on defense, there was like 6 games where you guys allowed less than 14 points or less, and most of those games, I think you only allowed 30 points twice all season, and that's over the course of 12 games. So very impressive numbers on both sides of the ball. A lot of impressive athletes, Coach. I mean, did you expect those kind of numbers coming in? I mean, you guys knew you would be good and have some success, but just to put up stats like that, numbers like that with these athletes, such great athletes, just what was that like for you to watch it unfold on the field?
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes our defense gets overshadowed by the numbers we've put up offensively. So those guys are really good. They're well coached. Coach Eric John, we call him EJ, has been with me. I first met him when I was back in Santa Gertrudis as offensive coordinator back in 2010. And then we're in 20. So our relationship spans back to the last 10 years. He was my DC when I went to Alice for the 1 year as athletic director, head football coach there. And then he came to Miller with me. On his side of the ball, it's remained the same staff for the last 4 years, going into the 4th year. None of them have left. And so just the continuity of what the kid's done. He's a great defensive mind, works extremely hard, and that, and builds great relationships with kids. And so when you do that like he does, he's just a heck of a football coach, and he's got a great staff over there. All those guys on defensive staff are phenomenal coaches. The continuity that goes along with that, that's how you're able to see success defensively. I didn't feel like our defense got enough credit last year, because you're not able to score a lot of points offensively if your defense doesn't get you the ball back quickly. And so I think that's what people need to understand, that our defense was very good and they're well coached.
For sure. And shout out to Coach Eric John, he's a Tamook product that played football there. I covered him when I was there as a student. He was on the football team. So shout out to Coach Eric John. Go Hogs. But yeah, Coach, definitely you had to talk about the season, and you played in an incredibly tough district. You look at the district, you look at the teams that made it. You guys were there. Victoria West, another great team. Flower Bluff and Corpus Christi veterans who you would meet in the regional semifinals for a huge game. Just week in and week out, a lot of tough games for you guys. Just what was that grind like over the season?
It was tough. We were the smallest 5A Division I football program in the state. Which was, in and of itself, you're the gap between our enrollment and the enrollment of the largest school in our district, it was pretty significant. But nevertheless, we just went out and played hard every single game. We felt like that we had a chance. We were talented enough that if we stayed healthy, when you don't have a lot of kids in the school, depth is an issue and kids staying healthy. So we needed to make sure that our kids stayed healthy. And so we were fortunate to stay pretty healthy. And because of that, that's where you were able to see us have the success that we were able to have last year.
Oh, I crashed. Hey, Coach. Sorry.
There you are.
Yeah.
Sorry, lost you.
Yes. Sorry. Glad I didn't crash all the way. All right. Good. We're back on. But yeah, no. Sorry, I didn't really catch the end of what you were saying there. But nonetheless, you were talking about just how excellent that district was. Let's talk about the postseason a little bit, Coach. You guys were on a roll. You won all 10 games. You came in and I was at your Pace game against in that by district game. It was a very rainy. It was just as ugly kind of a football weather kind of game that you can get into, Coach. What do you remember about that week? I know there was a lot of eyes on it, both in Corpus and in the Valley. Just what was the morale like going into that game, and then just watching it unfold in the messy, cold rain that it was.
Well, I prefer perfect weather conditions
Yeah.
when you're talking about the type of style of play we play. But I'll tell you what, man, and I didn't know a lot about Brownsville Pace, but I tell you what, that game, because both of us had to play in the weather conditions. It was, and Coach Pardo and the job that he's done at Brownsville Pace is unbelievable. I went and had an opportunity to talk with that squad right after the game, and your heart bleeds for them. They're one possession away from down by the goal line to win the game. They go for two, they win, they beat us. And I don't think a lot of people gave them enough credit going into that game. A lot of people wrote them off. That's why you play the game. That's why you play football. Because on any given night, anybody can beat anybody. I think Coach Bartle's done an amazing job with that Brownsville Pace program. They played hard, and so that woke us up. I mean, really, really, really truthfully did. We were able to go in the next round, and it really taught our kids. And it doesn't matter if you're 10-0. When you get to the playoffs, it's win or go home. And Brownsville Pace, they had nothing to lose. They came up here, they're playing on a Thursday night in a cold, raining, away from their home. And they just came out here and they hit us in the mouth. And it's unfortunate that they weren't able to, that you had to have a loser. But my hat's off to them. I tell you what, the Valley's got some great football down there. You guys do. And it's a lot of great teams in the Valley and a lot of great coaches down there that coach kids up and that are competitive and get after it.
For sure, yeah, it was definitely a really great game to watch. I was down there near the goal line in the pouring rain and the ugly drizzle. But yeah, no, it was a great game to be a part of, and no matter who won, it was a fight. But like you said, it woke you up. I mean, you came out, ran over Southwest 56-6, and then came out in a rematch against Veterans Memorial that I think went into what, double, triple overtime the first time around during the
Yeah.
district season.
Hmm.
And so you met him again, all Corpus third round game. You can't ask for anything better, Coach. What was that like? There must have been a lot of hype around the city during that game, people getting ready for it. I mean, just what was the preparation for something like that like during the week of practice and to actually see it unfold uh, during game night?
Well, I tell you what, that the Miller Vets rivalry has kind of taken shape. I mean, it's really a unique thing here in Corpus. Um, because a lot of these kids in junior high, they play against each other, and we were able to have this rivalry, and then to be represented in the third round of the playoffs to go to the regional finals was even more special. You hate, as a school district, you love it because you have at least one representative that was going to guaranteed a spot to play in the regional final. But you also you have to have a loser, and I believe that Coach Semper is one of the brightest minds in the game. He's one of the best coaches in the game. We have in high school right now, and he's going to get kids ready to play. And ultimately, the first time we beat them, it was a double overtime game, and we were able to make one more play than they did. And then if you look back to the playoff game, then it was reversed. We had an opportunity to tie it and possibly go for two and win it at the end of the game, and we didn't get it done. And so, but the whole atmosphere, 12,000 people, sold out stadium, chairs and bleachers and things being brought in. I mean, it was an electric atmosphere. It was great for Coastal Bend, for Corpus. I know a lot of the restaurants made a lot of money off of it because they were streaming the game. It was on TV, and people went in there at the different local establishments and watched the game too. So it was just great for our community, and that's why it was even more important that we keep the game going for this year. Find a way to get it done, because that game is so important to so many people now.
For sure, Coach, and we're hoping it all pans out and unfolds. It looks like we're on track to do that here in a couple of weeks. But we will, August 28th, I believe, is the game day that we have circled. You guys will be out there. What can we expect out of Miller this year? You guys are coming coming down to 4A. Just talk us through that. Gut feeling, looking at the district and everything. Just what can we expect from the Miller Bucks in 2020?
Well, the jury's still out on some of those things. We have the potential to be as good or better than last year. In certain positions that you want to be solid in, we're solid in those positions. The quarterback position, offensive line position, running back positions, and some receivers. And we've got some guys, and you look on the defense side of the ball, and I feel like our front seven has an opportunity to be really good, if they continue to progress. And so, we're hey, and this is not a knock to our new district. I mean, those great football teams, but we came out of a good district. You look at a Veterans Memorial team that finished fourth, and they beat us in the third round to go to regional finals. You look at a great Flower Bluff team, well coached. They played Wagner to 4 points in the second round of the playoffs, and could have easily beat them at the end. And so Victoria West went 2 rounds this year. So we're not. I know a lot of people paint this as a tough district, but we just came out of a tough district. And so. And our district we're in now is definitely improved. Coach Miller over at TM has done an amazing job. Wade Miller, turning that program around. Coach Atwood at Alice done a phenomenal job. Those two schools are going to be really good. And so we just got to get ready to play every single week and, take it game by game.
For sure, Coach. And we definitely look forward to watching you guys and Real Sports Live. Like we said, we're going to be there, following you guys all season long. We'll be at all the home games. So, Coach, we're excited to see it. And I appreciate you coming on and giving me some of your time this afternoon, Coach. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And everybody keep it here. The Real Sports Live, we're going to have content. We've been having streaming games and other replays and highlights on Real Sports Live. So check it out wherever you do social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on the Roku Network, YouTube Live, and Apple TV. So just check us out. Look for Real Sports Live and keep it here. I just want to say thanks for everybody for watching. And once again, to Miller's Justen Evans for coming on. Coach, have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You as well.